Did you spill water over there?
The only thing I spilt is the truth.
She just brings that light that I can't bring.
He kind of makes me more logical and more motivated. You're listening to Opposites Attract with J&T. Stay tuned for...
And I knew I couldn't drop $500 on a teddy bear. And then we'll be doing podcast episodes with the Jonas Brothers and Miley Cyrus. Let's get married. What's up, Opposite Attractors? Welcome to this episode. Today we're sponsored by this tea. It's like French for black. That was so confusing. Anyway, today we're talking about expectations versus reality and how social media, friends, and family affect our relationship. So today we wanted to start off how social media affects our relationships and possibly everyone else. So stay tuned.
Yes. We all have expectations in our own relationship personally, but we also don't realize that there's other things and other people that have expectations on us. So social media probably being the most prominent today because everybody uses it except for James. He's the odd man out here, I guess. He doesn't use it, but I do. And it definitely has an influence on how we look at how we should be dating somebody. There's so many articles.
Yeah,
and
just
things.
in general, how we look at the world itself.
Yeah, just how you look at it completely. And with relationships, it's no exception. And I think that I wanted to share my own experience with that because it did have an impact on my relationship with James in a certain sense. And it was minuscule, but...
Can you share those experiences?
I can. I want to start off with... I think everybody wants their significant other to express their love for them, and usually social media, especially with our millennial age, is the way we do it. So I was...
Are we Generation X? Z?
I think we're millennials, man.
No, I thought millennials was 30, or you were born in... I don't remember when we were born, but I think the cutoff was the 90s something, and it started in the 1980s. I feel like you could be as old as 30. Millennials are having children and owning houses these days.
That's deep. I don't know then. I don't know
So
how...
I think we're Generation Z or X.
I don't think we're X. I think X was before us. I have no idea. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Somebody answer that question somewhere on our social medias.
Fact checker today.
We don't. We don't. We need to know this. But yeah, with our generation, whatever it is, it's a huge thing to express love on social media. So Instagram pictures or on Snapchat or all the cute lovey-dovey pictures, And so me being the social media person that I am on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. On especially Instagram, when we first started dating, I wanted him to post about me like I do. I still post about you all the time, but I wanted him to like my pictures and comment on them. I see all these couples around on social media saying oh, you're so cute, or I love you, or going off about how cute they are on their pictures. And it just looks oh, when I see that, I'm oh, that's cute. They're supporting each other. But at the same time, it's I was thinking nowadays, why was I so hung up on that? And I think the reason was there was this expectation in social media that if you didn't show your relationship through social media, then you weren't together,
Yeah.
And so that's even goes down to when you do the Facebook, are you single, relationship, complicated, that kind of thing.
Right. I just wanted to ask the question for all those people who are not on social media and kind of don't have the standard from social media. Where does that actually come from? Where do you think?
What do you mean by that?
Where does the standard of having the boyfriend needs to post and like my pictures? Where do you think that comes from?
I think it's just I think it's to broadcast that you're good with your significant other. When I feel I know that a relationship is over first when it's off of social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'll follow like certain couples that I'm friends with. If I know, I'm like, oh, these guys are dating now because they post about each other. I'm like, oh, they're dating. And then as soon as I go to their bio and it's empty with not their name anymore and the pictures are deleted, I know that they broke up, and I'm like, wonder why. And it makes me
that's
curious. It
interesting.
kind of attaches you, like even through this virtual world here, it attaches you to this relationship, even for just a millisecond. Like, oh, I hope they work out, or oh my gosh, they're dating, or oh my gosh, it's like a gossip kind of thing. It's weird. It's like you're reading a magazine about a celebrity and how you want them to stay together, but it's even more personal than that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm not sure everyone got this from what they're gonna get from what I got, what you said.
Okay.
That made a lot of sense. I know. But is that kind of like an outside force? Just this overwhelming need to find content to post all the time on their social media, so they just use their boyfriend as this segment in their season?
I wouldn't think about it like that.
I mean, because like I'm thinking when first Instagram came out, like if you didn't take a picture of your food, you never ate it.
Yeah, okay. So I think it kind of stems off of that same, like, wanting to share everything to make sure everybody knows kind of feeling, but even deeper than just, like, sharing your food. Because obviously nobody cares about your food, and nobody did in the first place, but it was a thing. But with relationships, like, it kind of broadcasts, like, that you're not single anymore, that you are in love with somebody, that you are taken, that you're happy. It gives this, like, facade of, like, this is my life and it's beautiful and wonderful. That's why with all social media, no matter what, if you're posting about your relationship or whatever, it gives this idea of what your life looks like on the outside, and it doesn't actually portray it on the inside. So that was, like, for me, in my particular experience, I wanted James to post about me and to write comments on my pictures and all this stuff because I felt like I needed to make sure everybody knew about it in order for it to be good. And then after a while, I realized that it really doesn't matter at all. Like, I would rather have the relationship be, like, sincere in person and in real life than have it be all, like, la-di-da on social
Is
media.
that also the same time you find out that I'm the OG
Yeah.
boy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think as our
okay.
relationship solidified more, I realized that I didn't need social media to, like, kind of, like, validate our relationship.
I was just about to say that.
Like, I didn't need that validation. Like, in, like, the really, like, okay, no offense to anybody that's involved in a relationship that's kind of, like, lighthearted, but it's like when you're in a lighthearted relationship, social media posting is everything, because that shows how much you blabber. Like, I've followed many people that are in a relationship that maybe is better than it looks like on social media, but all they post about is these long paragraphs like, I just love my boyfriend and all this stuff. And I'm like, why don't you go around and tell him that instead of everybody else?
Oh, shit.
Like, I don't need to see all that. Like, that's not what I need to see. Like, you can put, like, I post about you, babe, but I don't say, like, some long ass paragraph like, this is why I love
So
you.
you're
And
better than everyone else, huh?
no, because I still post about you. If I was better than everybody else, I would not post about you at all. I wouldn't have you in my bio, whatever. I mean, even you have a picture of me on your Instagram from, like, a really long time ago, even though you, like, don't go on it hardly ever.
Yeah. I don't have my own Instagram. I have my dad's Instagram, his construction business Instagram.
I still tag your old Instagram, though, on pictures.
Still getting followers, though.
But yeah, I guess I realized as our relationship got more solid in real life, I didn't need it to be broadcasted as much. And look where we are. We're on a podcast about our relationship. So did it really work out?
I don't know. We'll find out. Either the relationship tanks or the podcast. Or both.
Hopefully neither. There's 4 options here.
Yeah, there is 4.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to transition now because I think that with social media kind of comes friends. Because when you follow friends on social media, and that is who you usually, some people have everybody, but usually it's just your friend group or like acquaintances. And those people outside of social media have a huge influence too. And I think that you have something you want to say about that, especially with your friends, what they're going through in their relationships right now.
I don't know. Well, going back to actually social media, like the reason I never really got into media, first of all, is I didn't have a relationship. So I didn't have that. I also didn't have many friends. And I also didn't go out to eat to restaurants, so I never had like anything to post about. I'm sure I do remember the time. I could have found things to post about, but I was just totally outside in an outside world. So I never got with the whole idea. I mean, I did understand it. Like I did go on it for a little bit, and like it changed me. I kind of felt like this a cult, if you will, and there's this unspoken way to behave.
Yeah.
And I did not. It didn't feel right with me, and like since I never had friends, because the way I look at it, because your friends are like the typical mean girls. You have to have a status. That's the way I perceive them. I'm sure they had feelings and emotions, and they weren't zombies.
Oh my gosh.
But that's how it looked like.
From social media, you mean, or from just the outside?
In every way. So the reason I'm saying that it is because social media never told me how to treat you, and I kind of just had to figure it out how I should treat you. I never I'm sure there was a whole teddy bear phase going on.
Teddy bear
that
phase?
Really big teddy bear. Like every girl was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, and I knew I couldn't drop $500 on a teddy bear.
Those things are expensive.
I didn't want to, so I kind of just. The only reason I'm just saying that is, I think it's good to not be on social media and look for that, because you're living someone else's relationship, or the way you're living the relationship that they want you to, and it's almost like a vlog for them. Like they go in the comments and they hope, "Hey, Mr. Vlogman, do this," and they do it, and then all of a sudden you're ruled by your followers or what's going on, and we'll follow what you guys want us to do. So. But that's why we're talking about this episode. We're talking about this subject in this episode because I really think it's really cool to have your own gifts and your own personalities and your own morals come together, and then you can make your own relationship with that instead of using social media.
Because I feel like whether it's Twitter, like pictures, or like couple goals, or whatever it is, like, or the advice from Cosmo, or all these different social media things, it will all influence how you act in your own real life. But instead of looking at social media, look to each other. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's what I had to do. I had to say, you know what, I don't need this, because he's way better in real life than he is on Instagram. And I think he will always be that way. And I am not upset about it. I'd rather he be perfect here than perfect on social media and bad in real life. But
yeah, if someone control your time, then they can control your experience in time.
Mind blown.
Confusing, but if people can control the time you spend, which is say 10 minutes on the relationship advice, they're going to control your experience. So if they tell you how to do something, then they'll do it. I mean, that's why we announced in that one episode, guys, we're not yelling at you. We're not telling you to do this. If you want to take advice from us, don't do it. But if you really have to take advice, still don't do it. We're just talking into a mic, and then maybe we'll be hot one day, and then we'll be doing podcast episodes with the Jonas Brothers and Miley Cyrus.
Oh my gosh. I'd love to do it with Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, I liked watching it. Were they on Disney? Yes. And since I can code, we'll get a whole Disney
Disney reboot on our podcast.
Let's go. That's the goal. That's the end goal right there.
That is the goal.
But transitioning into Friends, the way they create an expectation for you. For me, I think it was sex. It's like vice versa. You're not having sex, and then your friends are telling you to have sex. To me, like I said, I didn't have much friends, but when I did, when I was talking to them, I would be like, "Yeah, so I went out with this one girl, and then I dropped her panties in front of her family and totally." That's who I was in high school. What else are you supposed to talk with dudes? I don't know. Because the reason I said that is because literally every single other one of them had this little story how they went on the roof, or they did it in a Hollister store in the mall, and that's how. And when you're in a relationship, you kind of act those things out so you can brag about it, and your girlfriend becomes more of a trophy hunter rather than who you want to
be with, actually.
Yeah. Be with and make those things come to pass, the things that you want.
And I think kind of just tie that together a little bit. Friends have the tendency, at least we both have had friends that kind of make it this thing where have you guys done this yet? Have you done this yet? Have you done this yet?
Mm-hmm.
And they just like always want to know what's happening in the inner workings of your relationship. And you're the only relationship, babe, that I have ever had that I kept everything a secret as best as possible because I didn't want anybody telling me how to do it. Any of my friends. No offense to my friends. I love you all. But it was just like, for me, I like to keep, this relationship was so sacred to me that I didn't want everybody to influence how I thought about it. I wanted it to be my own thoughts and how my timing with you about everything, not just, the
Because
sexual things.
Did you assume that if you did start talking about it, they would begin to kind of control it?
Yeah, in a way, because I had relationships before where like they knew everything that was going on and it just never worked out, not just because like the relationship was crap, because usually they were, but because they were involved in every aspect and I felt like I couldn't have it myself. I felt like I had to make sure that they approved of everything that I did. And I was like, no,
Well,
I
give
love
some
this guy.
context, babe. Didn't you have like 10 different friends all in one group and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's a lot of inputs.
It was a lot of inputs and it was hard on me because with you, babe, I've never loved anybody like this deeply before. And it's like, I didn't want anybody to influence me and my thoughts about you at all. I was like, screw that. I don't want that. No offense to everybody, but it was just because I knew that in the past it hadn't worked that way. So I had to stop listening. I had to stop telling and I had to kind of keep my space. And I still do that. Even
Yeah.
with my closest friends, like I don't even tell, like we have best friends and we don't tell them everything, and I don't plan to because relationships are supposed to be personal
Right.
between the two people. If you go and bitch about your problems to your friends, what are they going to tell you? You should break up with him and you should do this and why aren't you doing this and blah,
it
blah, blah.
becomes
And
like
you're
this whole, let's
whoa.
get him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies made out of,
There
out
is.
of those things. Come on, right? There has to be.
yeah, they're probably, yeah.
Like Hallway Pass, was that one?
That's a movie.
Where they have a pass to like do whatever they want with a different, with it. Like I give you rights to have sex with anyone, and then you give me rights to have sex with anyone, and then we go do our own thing, like with our friends. And then the friends were like, yeah, like all your single friends are like, yeah, let's go, find some chicks. And then the other group, you should see that movie.
I've never seen it.
I hope that's the movie because I think that's what it was. But we don't have a fact checker, like I said, but there are only 5 decisions that are good decisions that you can make in your entire day. So imagine how many good decisions you can make with your friends. So after you have a great, like an amount of friends, you start making, bad decisions. And within that, usually when your friends give you advice, you would like to take that because their advice would kind of reflect who you are because you chose them because you guys kind of aligned. So usually when you have that one friend, it's easier to take the advice. Mm-hmm. So I think that, are you confused?
I would lie if I said I wasn't completely like I'm following. Like it's better to have one close friend than 10 kind of friends because all those opinions can get.
Yeah, it is better. But my point is, it's still advice. It's still an output coming from this place.
Okay.
You don't know the context. Like my best friend, when he got married, he was having issues, and I told him, I was like, after I noticed hanging out with him a whole week in a row, I was like, bro, this is what's happening. This is what I see. Mm-hmm. What do you think? And then he was like, yeah, you're right. This happened and that happened. And then what I heard from him, then I gave, I'm pretty genuine in my advice giving because I want that 5-star out of 5 advice. Yeah, James, my stamp approval, I want it to be like.
Yeah.
Not some like, I don't want to say like, hey, go to McDonald's, that's some good food right there. I want like that stamp approval. When I say something, people go and get it. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Remember, babe? I was like, everybody watch Annihilation. It's going to f you up.
Yeah. Great movie, by the way, Annihilation.
Fantastic stamp of approval for me. That's going to be our first merch is my stamp of approval.
Yes, there we go.
No one buys stamps, though.
Oh. Well,
but friends, like you love your friends so much, but dang, they make your relationship so confusing.
they do. If you rely on your friends for all of the advice for your relationship, then you're going to be in for a treat because everybody will tell you something different and everybody will tell you how they think they'll do it. And I like to think I'm pretty good at advice too, but I also have to remember when I give advice that they're probably not going to take it all the time. And I'm totally okay with that because I'd rather them do what they feel is right with their relationship than follow my advice, because even if they think it's wrong, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just the same as I'd rather follow my own heart and what I think is right for my relationship than everybody else, what they say, because that'll just confuse me.
People don't know context. I'm sure everyone can relate with this. This is not like my own life experience. I mean, kind of is, right? You're like, you have friends that are like, dude, you've been single for this long, like, get a girlfriend or something. Like, but you know, maybe you don't want a girlfriend, or maybe you don't swing that way, and it's kind of, you're like, friends, don't make me say this, or it's like, or it's a different thing. Like, they don't never know the context, so it's just so hard. And plus, at the same time, when your friends say go get a girlfriend and you didn't get a girlfriend, well, you're kind of living the life that they're telling you to live, and that's not what you want to do. Because how else are you supposed to find your calling?
Yeah, and I think it hurts you because you are under this expectation, and you're trying to reach this expectation that somebody else set for you, and those things will never be met because it's not yours. You know, I have expectations with our relationship, babe, and I'm not afraid to admit them, but they're mine and yours alone.
Yeah.
They're not, I don't need to take somebody else's expectation. I don't have to look at like somebody's marriage. Like, a couple of our friends are getting married in September, and then our friends got married in June, and like, but we're not planning on getting married right now.
And my other friends getting married in August.
And yeah, there's a lot of people getting...
They're all Russians, by the way. These bastards just get married. Like, oh, we don't have money. Let's get married. No, I'm just kidding. They do have. They are financially stable.
Yeah.
At least the men are. Well, none of the girls are working.
But
they're in school.
Despite that, okay, we're moving on.
I'm just being honest.
I know you are, but
actually, going back, like,
my
aunt, she said I cursed in this episode. Guys, forget who I am. Okay, I am speaking out of, like, my heart is fully open, and so is my mouth. Okay, I'm speaking out of honesty, and I am being me. So please, family, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Thank you. Okay, speaking of family.
Yes, family.
That is like the most important thing in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's another thing that freaking... Come on, Sean, can you get married? I was trying to do a Chinese accent.
We're not Chinese.
So, but... I can't do it.
No, nobody understands what you're saying.
Come on, but like Chinese, I've seen this video of this guy. He got married to a Latina, and boy, he brought her home, like, to his dad's house or his family's house, and his mom's like in the kitchen or something, like, screaming. And she's like, I'm sick. I have very bad disease. I die if you come in. Like, she hated him for making that decision.
Right.
Who knows what happens if with him, she would have gave him they would have had this conversation. He would have had this idea, and then Maya Mike is on Viagra. I'm telling you. Fuck. Excuse my language, family. You can't have your uncle telling you that, hey, bro, she's not hot.
Get rid of her.
Yeah, something like that.
Or like...
Let's just reset. How do we want to do it? I think with us, let's start with our experience.
Our experience.
I'm going to start with my parents.
Okay. His parents are not too bad.
We went on vacation.
Together.
A week ago.
To
and my dad, like, he knew about this, like, you know, for 6 months prior before we went. I swear to God, this man, every single month, it's like an anniversary. He's like, James, my son, you should consider getting married. I'm like, boy. He's like, yeah, don't worry, I got you. I'll pay a year rent. And I don't know. I mean, I'm 19 years old, and my dad, and I'm in the university, and my dad's like, hey, you should go get married to go on vacation. That is just
get married to go on vacation.
And yeah, to go on vacation
with me, because he was worried. Well, I think that's family religious expectation kind of with you, with the whole sex before marriage thing. He's very strict about that kind of thing.
Which I agree with it. Like, that's how I want to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not good for your parents to have, a stake in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Like-
Have your blessing. Excuse me. Have your blessing and take that, and like, I think it's still fine if I ask your dad if I could have your hand.
Mm-hmm.
But
Good luck if it's in a couple years.
exactly.
That's
So,
me. The thing is, his family wants him to get married like right now. We've been dating for 2 years. So they're like, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? Every chance somebody else is getting married.
I
That's
usually
always
say I'm
asked.
gonna like propose tomorrow, and they're like, very nice.
But my mom
what
is
they say.
my mom is not as like strict about this, but my dad is like, you need to wait until you're 28. You don't know what you want when you're 19, which we're not getting married right now, Dad, by the way. We're not getting married right now. But if we get married in a couple years or whatever, I'm not going to let my dad's influence dictate when I should get married. That's the whole point of what we're trying to say here, is that his parents are telling him to get married now, but we're not ready as a relationship, as a couple, and we've decided this on
as
our own.
persons,
As our individual selves and our relationship selves, we're not ready to get married, and that's okay.
did
And
you say selves?
selves.
Oh. Sorry, I got really frustrated trying to talk about my dad wanting to bed. English.
Luckily, you still got to go on the vacation, so it didn't. See, that's what I'm saying, is that we didn't listen to what he or my dad or whatever.
You know
It doesn't
how
matter.
dumb that would have been if I listened to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had two options if I did listen to him: get married or don't go,
Right.
or just go is the third option.
Or just go. And we ended up having such a blast, and it was such like a memory that we'll have when we are married. When we don't have the time to go on a vacation all the time, we'll be able to remember that. Remember when we were 19, went to Cabo together and had the stuff. Now we can have those memories, and that's something that's really cool. And I like, you know what? He can worry all he wants, but it's no offense, it's nobody else's business but ours, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
that doesn't make me think that sometimes your family knows you better than you know yourself in certain situations. So if they were really concerned, like, say you're dating a drug addict and you're just completely blind to how this guy is like
Guys,
freaking crazy.
Taylor recommends you to get married with a drug addict.
No, I'm just when your
You will
family
find
wait,
love.
listen to me. When the parents tell you shouldn't be dating this guy, you should probably listen because he's addicted to drugs. That makes sense.
Hey, hold up. There's still people.
Of course. But when you shouldn't be dating somebody that's in the throes of drug addiction.
Guys, remember earlier when I was saying don't take my advice? Take my advice. If you're in love with someone that's on drugs, just,
Don't do it.
Well, actually, I don't know where I was going.
Don't try to
with that.
fix them.
I feel like I'm going to piss someone off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. Don't try fixing people. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
to. Because if you fix them, who knows what kind of new monster they're going to become.
Mm.
You got to fall in love with their problems.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Sucker. Anyway, my grandma, when they had my older brother, and they decided to name him Mark, and my grandma flipped chickens, dude. I'm telling you, they had chickens. You kidding me? Mark is like the village drunk. Like, you're gonna be... Mark is a good guy. He's our freaking facts checker. Like,
We're missing him right now. We need
he's
him.
on big things. He's on big things. So
They were worried about his name being
my grandma.
his grandma, but his parents ended up naming him Mark anyway because they're like, I like the name.
Are you
Not-
translating my story?
Yes, because sometimes you just kind of talk and forget that not everybody understands your
English?
yes. But basically, his parents didn't listen to his grandma because they were like, you know what? I like the name. It's my family. It's my relationship. It's my child. And that's how you're supposed to do it in a relationship. Obviously, what?
I just feel offended.
Why do you feel offended?
What am I like? What is that one guy who says box of chocolates? Our life's like.
Freddie. Nope.
Anyway, I feel like
Gilmore?
I'm.
Nope, that's not
Key and
right.
Peele, you're my Luther translator over here.
Well, sometimes it's okay. I speak your language, so.
Anyway, guys, if we're gonna give advice, we'll finish it with advice. This episode. What's the advice, babe? I don't want to give advice.
Yeah, well,
because someone's going to take it. And then
take what you will from this, but what we've gathered from our experience with people on social media or with our friendships or with family, even your closest family that you love dearly, your relationship is strictly between each other and God, if you believe in that. But each other.
What she said was,
you know what? You don't need to translate me. It was just because I got confused, but I felt I didn't want anybody else to be confused. Anyways, don't listen to everybody as much as you are wanting to. Don't get caught in the throes of what you should look like on the outside to everybody else, what everybody else expects you to do with anything, whether it's with getting married, having sex, all this kind of stuff. What you look like on the outside is not what it matters. It matters what's
is
on
what
the
matters.
inside.
You do need a translator, or was that right?
No.
Is what matters?
It is, on the outside is not what matters. On the inside is what matters. If our relationship is crap on the inside but good on the outside, that doesn't do anything.
It's what Jesus said. I was going to say Gandhi. Just kidding, that was a joke. Anyway, Taylor, well said. Fantastic. It's not what goes in the inside, it's what comes out.
No, opposite, babe. It's what's on the inside, not the outside of the relationship.
No, it's not what goes in, it's what comes out.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Don't take... What?
Jesus said it, so it must be right. You atheist.
Not. So take this all with a grain of salt. This is just from what we've experienced personally, but it's definitely made our relationship way better because we don't have to worry about everybody else making sure we please everybody because it's just too exhausting because we're trying to please each other, not everybody else.
We're not good at it either. I mean, we kind of just evolved, I would say, and end up doing it like what Taylor said earlier. She's like, oh, I'm in love, so I don't need to do Instagram love anymore.
Yeah,
like I'm not in a relationship for Instagram. I'm in a relationship because this guy's got like 8 packs and he can treat me like a woman. That's me, guys.
But
anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope you don't get in trouble with your crazy family by not
listening to them.
Yeah, I'm an opposite attractor and actually, Dad.
Screw off. Thanks, guys.
Please. If this helpful was help. 1 second, let me try. If this video was helpful, smash the like button. I can't do it like they do it.
If this podcast was helpful, please smash the like button.
Not fast enough. Okay, I'll send it.
Thanks, guys.